Okay, so you made it through the entire interview and we get to the end and the interviewer looks at you and says, well, this has been great. Thank you for answering all of our questions. Do you have any questions for us? The answer is always yes. So, what should you ask? Today we'll talk about it. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Cassandra and I help motivated professionals build their careers and businesses through practical tips to gain career confidence. And y'all, interviews are my jam. So let's talk about questions to ask at the end of the interview. Now, like I said in the intro, you always have questions. Do not go, yeah, everything's good. I think I'm good to go. Thank you so much. Asking questions shows that you're interested in this position. You're curious. You want to know more about it. You want to have a good understanding of what it would be like. And don't forget, you are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. So here are 3 questions you can ask at the end of the interview. 1, what are the qualities of the person who has been the most successful in this position in the past? Here's why this question is helpful. Overall, it's going to give you a really good idea of what working for this person will be like. If they say that the best person from this position in the past was in early, out, up late, did everything they could to make sure that the job got done ahead of time, they were available all the time, you know what this manager is looking for, and they might be a bit of a micromanager or maybe don't understand boundaries. Now, it could also just work out that they say, we really liked that the person who did this well in the past really managed their time well. They were an excellent communicator. Even if things weren't going great, they weren't afraid to just keep us on track and let us know, hey, this is where things are at. Then you kind of go, okay, I know what they want in somebody. Good, I know how to do well in this role. This is a great question because it helps you really get a good sense of what it would be like to work in this role and to do well in the role, and then also to see what's it really like working for this person. You need to read between the lines a little bit of what they're saying, but depending on their answers, it should give you a really good idea of if you're the right person for this job. So the next question that's really helpful is, who would I be working closely with in this position and what would our relationship be? This is a great one to ask if you're on a panel. Now, maybe they told you at the beginning, you'd be working with these people, then you can adjust this question and direct it towards them, like, hey, I would love to know, what does that working relationship look like? But if you're not sure, if it was, hey, I read a job description and now I'm sitting down in front of somebody, feel free to ask, like, hey, I would love to know, who would I be working closely with and what's that relationship? This will help you get a feel of who the other people you'd be working with are, but also, like, are there certain departments you'd be working closely with? And even if they're not in the interview, now you know, and you can go look those people up on LinkedIn, kind of get a feel of what it would be like. But if it's a panel, oftentimes they will then pivot this question to the people you'd be working closely with to kind of talk about that relationship. And again, you can read between the lines of, does this seem like somebody I'd enjoy working with, or would this be hard? I've done panel interviews quite a few times, and there have been ones where I'm sitting there kind of investigating, like, okay, well, I know I'd be working with that person, and based on what they're saying, I think we'd get along, and that makes me more excited for the position. So it's a nice way to feel out, can I see myself in this mix of people? Do I feel like I'd be a fit? And then lastly, I have to share with you the question that has literally helped thousands of people now get jobs. Seriously, I have 2 other whole videos about it. You can check out those in the description box below. But right now, the question you have to be brave and ask is, based on our conversation, is there anything leaving you with hesitancy for considering me for the position? Now, I have changed this slightly if you notice. I think before I said for hiring me for the position. Depending on the situation, that can come off a bit too strong. So that's why you say any hesitation in considering me for the position. Is this question scary? Yes. Does it work 100% of the time? No. But if you go look at the comments on that other video, you'll see it does a pretty bang up job. Here's why I love this question. Number 1, it shows you can take feedback. More and more and more hiring managers are now looking for people who can handle feedback. You know, it's not all criticism, but they can take it when somebody says, you know, this is something you need to work on. So being able to hear the answer to this question and not run from the room screaming already does you a very strong solid. Number 2, it gives you the chance to clarify anything. What I have found from my thousands of interviews I have sat in, you know, there is often something that the interviewee says that makes us go, I kind of wish they'd given a better answer, or they never really talked about their experience in this area, and that's kind of a big part of this job. But depending on the company policies, they might not be able to press and ask for more. So when you give this question at the end, it gives them the chance to say, yeah, actually, there's, you know, you didn't really give us a good example of customer service, or you didn't really tell us about a time you've worked with this group. And you can clarify, you can, you know, give another example, share something else you could be doing that would help them make a better decision. And then third, it gives you a chance to fight for it. Don't take that too strong. I don't always love when people say the word fight, but it gives you the chance to kind of make your case of why you're a great candidate. So they may say something like, hey, you've never had experience in this area, and unfortunately, we're really looking for someone with that experience. Well, now that they brought it up, you can tell them why it's such a great thing that you don't have experience yet. You are a blank slate. They can train you however they want to train you. You're not bringing in some old company policies or we did it that way over at this company with you. Whatever the thing is, you can make the argument of why you're good for the position because you don't have those other experiences. So it gives you a chance to kind of make the argument of why that hesitation shouldn't stop them from considering you. And then the other reason that I love this question is it's going to give you a very clear picture very quickly as to whether or not you're a strong candidate. They could have a hesitation that's a huge thing, like, well, this is a sales position and you told us you're extremely shy and we need someone who's not afraid to talk to anyone. Okay, you're still gonna try and fight for it and talk about how you're gonna overcome your shyness, but you're gonna know pretty quickly, well, that's a pretty big gap, pretty big hurdle I'm probably not gonna cross. I'm probably not a good fit. Or they're gonna say, you know, it's this little thing, we're just kind of concerned about this over here. And you can make your great argument as to why that shouldn't leave them with hesitation and know, okay, I think I have a pretty strong chance. Or they could say, no, actually, we have no hesitations. In fact, we already can decide we will be moving you on to the next round. Great. It just lets you know, hey, do I need to be sitting at home waiting by the phone for that next call? Or do I need to be interviewing with other people, networking more, sending more job applications? It gives you a really nice picture of what your next step should be. Now, I will say, I get questions all the time of like, when should you ask this question? I recommend it being asked in the very last interview. I normally ask this with the person that I know I'd be working directly for. I don't ask it to a panel. I don't need 7 people's opinions. I don't ask it on a phone screen, but I do know people who've asked it on a phone screen and it worked. I do know people who asked it on a panel and it worked. So go with your gut. Is it the right time to ask this question? Should the question be asked at all? I think it's an excellent question to ask, obviously, but you need to go with what's best for you. So know when it's the right time to ask. You discern if this is the right interview. If it's not, it's okay. There will be another one. But I do really recommend asking this question at some point in the process. That is it for today. Now, if you want more info on that question and other questions I think you should ask, watch this video. And if you want more interview content, watch this playlist. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.